Thank you for joining me. I'm going to show you how to paint this fisherman standing next to his boat. Only use these two enjoyingart brushes to have the same learning experience. Purchase yours today at enjoyingart.com brushes. In the reference, there's quite a bit of space at the bottom and some space at the top. And we're going to thinking about, is anything help the main object? If not, we can let it go. Like the sky is just a rectangular shape right on the top over here. So I'm not going to leave that because it become a distraction to the main object. So some of the thing I'm going to keep, some of the thing I'm not going to keep. I'm going to just take any color you want. I know there are lots of people afraid of directly painting with watercolor. Some people are afraid of painting watercolor in general. So they think about watercolor, it's just difficult to control. It actually not. It's just your mind thinking process sometimes difficult to follow the step by step, right? So we're going to think about the first thing, where we're going to put the main object. We do want to include the leg of this person, and the shadow is very soft, so we're not expecting a strong cast shadow. So I'm thinking about, we have the balance on the right hand side over here for the boat, right? So I'm going to think about that. I like to use my finger, just make one decision at a time. Okay, so we're going to start over here. I think that the top, I'm going to put it here. And as I mentioned about, my idea is I'm not going to include the sky, so I'm going to remove that part out. So think about it, if the top of the head over here, and then the legs, so which is a little diagonal line from here all the way here, right? Gonna come in right there. This is good. And after you decide the top and the bottom, this is one decision at a time. So when you do that, you don't want to think about the face, you don't want to think about the eye or any of those things, because it's just far from the first step, right? So I'm gonna have the like a triangle from here, and the top of the boat could be right over here based on the location of the head. So I'm gonna have this almost like a halfway on from the hip of him, and it's about halfway, right over here. So in that case, this is going to be the starting point for the boat. I'm going to have that over here. Look at that, where it's going. You can change the angle if you want to. So this is a one thing, and maybe a little bit straight at the end over here. This is fine. So I'm going to have that, the top over here, all the way like this. Look at it, and perfect, right? So one thing at a time. And now I'm going to having then this side and this the other side of the boat. That's just great. This is very important. This is going to be the assisting line or the guideline for the rest of the composition. Okay, now we know the midpoint of the body is right over here. We're going to go back over here from here and going to the front of the boat, right? Just one thing at a time. Yeah, don't need to worry too much about it. Let's divide the vertical. The top over here, the bottom over here, and we can see that that could be the bottom of the pants is over here, and then we're gonna see that the midpoint looks like just right about on the waist. Okay, the top of the pants, like about here. You see that there's only one thing at a time. Okay, don't mix too many steps at once. So after you have that, I think this is about right. This is a process especially important for anyone doing figure painting and drawing, because find out the midpoint is very, very, very important. And then after I have this about here, and then I can thinking about that 1, 2, 3, about 1/3. Right, from the top to here, can you see that? About 1/3, that would be the bottom of the bear. And that's just good. Like that, about 1/3, right? That's just good. When you have that, I'm gonna put a little color, form a little bit. That's just the And then from here, the bottom of the head, that will be very easy to define right from here. Okay, this is good. Everything's falling together very quickly. Let's see. Since we have the upper body, we see that there's the, and we can actually from here, since we already find out the bottom of the face, we can start over here. There's an angle. Look at that. And don't see the detail all the way down over here. And that would be the hand. The arm over here, right? That would be the hand. And we're going to talk more about the anatomy. From the shoulder over here to the elbow is about 1 1/3 a head. And from here to the whisk is about 1 head. And we're going to come back to do more measurement as we are moving forward from here. So this is good. We don't have to define too much ahead of time. Just like that. This is good. You see that I did not pre-draw with pencil or anything. And just everything just start with the first decision. So I'm going to looking at the whole shape over here. Like from the shape over here from onto the shoulder on this side. And I can draw a little line over here. And the elbow and coming down all the way over here. So we're going to figure it out, right? Everything we can start from the larger to smaller. And seeing that, there's a little line coming down like this. And the calligraphy brush is very easy to control. If you're feeling you need more help with that member, you can join different club in the community. That one of the clubs that could be very helpful for you, meeting every Wednesday. And a group of artists is really excited about how to study the using the brush, which is the calligraphy Chinese brush painting. And you can join that right on our Discord. Okay, this is good. Now take a look at, that's the shape of the pens. Now I'm going to coming down over here. And you maybe think about, oh, we just start from the face. No, we don't start from the face because we don't even know where the face is, right? So we need to figure it out. Right now the step is to figure things out. Now I'm going to set the head over here and then the boot would be over here. And that could be the shape of the boot, right? One thing at a time. And we can still making changes as we're going. That's the bottom of this booth. And this is good. Now I'm going to take a look at down over here, right? And let me know if you have any questions. Members on Zoom with me. If you have any questions, I can answer you why I am going through this. Okay, this is good. This is a one leg, and this is good. We don't have to get into the detail. It's far from the detail time. Okay, now the bottom over here, the hand. Now you can also measure from here to the hand, and it looks like about 1/3 all the way to the top. So we're gonna think about that. Is that the bottom of the hand should be come down a little bit more, maybe. Okay, like that. And the glove is right over here. This is good. After we're taking care of those, it will become very simple. Now take a look at from here. Okay, from here to here is about 1/3 to the all the way to the top. We haven't decided how wide is the face yet. Maybe we don't decide it even until a little bit later. I'm gonna say look at that and maybe come. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Too early to decide whether or not the arm over here is correct. So now I'm going to get out of the area of the person. Now I'm going to from here all the way coming through. There, see that? That's going to be connected to there. That's just put it simple. That's the Y shape. And you can name it over here. That's the Y shape, right? And don't forget that every inch of your paper or canvas, it is a part of your artwork. So you don't want to focus on one small area and forgetting that every inch on your paper is really matter. It's not just the face. Okay, lots of people and think about the face as a portrait, and maybe there's a person over there, so the person is just everything. It's not, including the space on the outside over here. We need to decide on how we're going to use them. So this is good. I'm going to have something over here coming down like this, and here you go. I'm going to see that whether or not this is going to fit into the picture. If it doesn't, you can let it go. Okay, that's simple. Like that. This is good. And I can have some other object down over here. Okay, that is the support for the bottom of the boat. Okay, that's good. Right over here, the bottom over here, like this, all the way down over here. Okay. Okay, so it looks like a pretty good, fitting pretty comfortably. Now I'm going to take a look at, I'm going to mix just a little bit green color, and just a little bit, and take a look at the outside over here. Some of the shape next to the face, I'm probably just going to let them go, because we don't want to create too much distraction next to the face. So over here, I'm going to keep that over here. Okay, everything have to reconsider, and whether or not that is necessary. Now see that I give less about shape next to the face, and that is going to help to get more attention into this main object. So I'm going to coming over here like that. This is good. Coming down a little bit. So this is going to also help the boat, right? This is good. And have a little bit couple more over here. I can have a little bit shape over here, but just not get too close to the face. Okay, this is good. And a little bit like that. This is good over there. And then take a look on this side. We can have a little shape over here. Here you go. And on the back, this is okay. And there's a little bit bigger shape over here, a little bit rack. We can use that shape. Okay, very interesting. And coming onto this side, I'm going to change this shape a little bit easier. So I don't want to get down like this too quickly, right? This is good. Okay, here we go. Now, I take a look at the bottom of the boat over here, still going, getting all the thing together. And this is the head, the front of the boat, like that shape. And there's a little rack over here. And I decided I'm going to maybe let the rack, remove the rack. And maybe don't really need it. Okay. Oh, I do want to include it, because I'm going to have to make up the empty over here behind this. So it may be okay, but I'm going to, for now, I'm just going to keep that. But the shape, I can change it a little bit more. Like I make a little bit more, make it more interesting, like that. And maybe a little bit bigger shape. Okay. And take a look. This is okay. And if you want to erase some of this, you just use the water when it's still wet. Just pretty simple. All right. Now I'm going to come back to the person and take a look at where's the face. Okay. And take a look at the width, squint your eye if you don't see clearly. I think this shape is, overall shape's pretty good. Look at the arm, maybe a little bit too big. So I'm going to have up a little bit over here. And like this. Come a little bit smaller. Okay. Like that. And okay. I'm going to have divided over here. Have a little shape like that. And here we go. And now when I take a look at, now the arm is getting better. Now the waist over here, right here just fine. Coming over here, let's take a look at, if you do the straight vertical line from here all the way up on your reference, you can see that this is exactly hitting the left side of the head. Right, so is this correct? It's a correct connection right here. This is good. Now on the front over here, and I'm gonna make a little change. I need to move it a little bit more backward a little bit, because this whole shape more look like this. all the way. Now we're looking at the smaller area. Like that is the front. This is good. And this is good. Now coming. They're actually pretty good. And I'm going to give it a little bit more definitions. Let's keep going with this. The bear is just there. It's just good. But we need to define the shadow over here. Don't look at the ear part of the shadow, right? So after we define the bigger area shape, and it will be easier to define the smaller shape within the big shape. Okay, this is good. Like that, the back over there. And the shadow over here. And the whole shape of the bear, the nose, is about right here. So I'm going to make it a little bit darker. So I'm going to mix it a little bit brown color. Just brown is just the darker of the orange. So after you mix the orange, it just add a little blue and you get that color. Right over here, that's the nose. That's the eye coming in a little bit more. That's good. And then this eye, it will be sitting in this shadow. So just only seeing the larger area, the shadow, right? That's important. And now I'm going to have a little bit shadow. Get a little bit blue. Okay, here you go. On the face over here on this side is a little bit more shadow. On the side of right here, this is good. And the top of the nose over here can come down a little bit more. That's good. Now we're going to define the whole bear. The whole bear is right in here. And seeing that right here like this. And the bottom of the face right there too. This is good. Now see the neck right over there. Now you can see the structure or the form of the face. And then we'll just use the water and just soften that a little bit over here. Coming a little bit softer right there. This is good. Now we get the idea. I'm going to have a little bit tiny more blue color. This is good. This is pleasant blue. And this is still the drawing step. Okay, so when we start doing the painting, we need to use a little bit larger coverage so that it's going to be the flat brush. Since I only use these two brushes for painting such small. Okay, that's good. So the shape of the head. And let's take a look. I think this is pretty good overall. I think it's like the front over here looked a little bit too much going forward. So we can actually have this come in, slowly coming back. Here you go. Coming back a little bit. So move the booth just a drop, coming backward. And that's all it needs. Okay? Doesn't really need that much. So this is good. I think we're ready to paint the whole painting. So here we go. Now I'm going to come here to, before you decide each area of the small shape, what color it's going to be or how dark the color would be, it's very important to cover the larger shape, okay, before we can decide. So it will save you lots of time, okay? So I'm going to take a look at the ocean. What's the water color it's going to be? I'm going to start from the green shade, but it's too bright, so take a little bit red, like that. Okay, this is good. I think this is a good color. So I'm going to have that from the top over here, coming down like this. Okay, not too much of water, but this is good enough. This is going to be a little bit darker than, and the head also darker than the outside. So, but the face a little bit lighter. So think about the relation between those adjacent shapes. So also the green color over here is also going to be darker than the ocean. So I can paint the whole thing over here and the outside. Let me see. This is fine. Okay, coming down a little bit over here, coming over here, that's stop. I think the top of the bowl over here, we can keep that. Okay, this is good. Okay, I don't have like a too much paint on the brush, and just enough to cover. That's good. That's the outside. I'm gonna come a little bit front over here, just give a little bit more lighter. Okay, like that. Pretty good. And be a little careful about how the paint texture is going to create. So I'm going to have this coming all the way to the left side. So this is good. The first step. Okay, don't worry about. We're going to still have some other shapes to cover. So in the front over here, I'm going to have a little bit more red mixed into it. And this is the rock at the front over here. Okay, this is good. Coming all the way the front over here. And also thinking about, so how the color actually in each other's, like say, if one color, you can see that also exists in the other color. In that case, you don't have to paint around. Like the booth, I can paint over because of that is darker than the outside color. So make it much easier for you to see things. Okay, that's good. I'm going to have that all the way over here, but on this rock, I'm going to have the left side, keep it a little bit light. I'm going to have it right away, all the way in here. And also in here, it's okay to keep that color in the brown, because the brown have blue and yellow and the red, right? So think easy. That's just make your life much easier. If you never thought about this way, okay, start thinking about more before you start the painting. Okay, I'm going to just put the red and the blue together and coming onto this side. I'm gonna, here you go, cover that right over here, and don't worry, it's gonna end it up looks like the way you want it. Okay, here you go. I'm gonna have that a little bit more straight this way. This is good. Okay, this is good. And the front over here. And now the biggest shape is already covered on the paper, right? And then now since it's the background still a little bit wet, could be a very good time for us to go into put the green color in. So I'm gonna remove the excess wet at the bottom of the painting, so that it's not going to come back to create textures. All right, we're going to keep going. I'm going to get the yellow into here, get a little bit blue. Here we go. Now we can get a little bit tiny more yellow. This is good, like that. And if you want it to be less bright, get a little bit more red into it. This is good. Now we're going to do that right in here. Here you go. Putting a little bit more color, a little bit more yellow too. Okay, this is good. Like that. Wonderful. And just step on it. Maybe a little bit more yellow and red because it looks a little bit more like a brownish color. Okay, here we go. Like that. And coming the front over here. Okay, here we go. Look at it. Just look at the shape. Look at the larger shape. I'm going to put that right outside over here. All you see, as I keep saying, shape, shape, shape. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, like that. That's good. A little bit more shape. Just put that on. Just get your impression. That's good. Like that. The bigger shape, smaller shape, the space between the shape. Okay, this is good. I like that so far. So again, don't put too much distraction next to the face. So I'm going to have this a little bit lower. It will make quite a bit of difference in the impression. Okay, here you go. One step at a time. I'm going to coming over here. This is good. So the outside here, the shape is actually darker than the coat. Okay, so I'm going to have that touching in here. Okay, let's continue over here. Now I have a little big shape. Think about how those is actually connected. Okay, a little big shape over here. That's good. This is nice. So I have a little bit U shape. Actually, it's not much U shape, but you can create a little big feeling of the U shape. So help the face to stand out. Okay, here you go. Like that. I'm going to have a little bit darker. Here you go. Like this. Keep going. That's just the side. I'm going to, as I intended to, I'm going to make this actually a little bit easier. So don't coming up like too much. And here you go. And coming around the boat. Here you go. That's just good. Actually, lots of people, lots of members actually wondering about how can I paint a little bit loose, okay, instead of put a little bit tight. It's all in the thinking. It's just not about much about paint. It's about all in your mind. So you need to think the relation. It's not thinking about the specific small details. And more you think about the specific small details, it will tighter your painting is going to be, right? So I'm going to make this a little bit darker, have a little bit more darker rock right in here. Okay, that's just good. Or you think about the balance. It's not about the object. Okay, the balance. This is good. I'm a little bit closer. I'm going to keep a little bit detail over here. This is also the balance. The balance is about the attention. Okay, this is good. Like that. This is pretty good. Now the back, it looks like a pretty good, pretty easy. It's already done, right? And there's some wet above the painting, so I'm going to remove them. This is good. Okay, always think about all the connection. So the bottom over here is good, and the coat, I'm going to put in the color. Maybe right now, I'm going to put the color on the face. So I'm going to put a little bit tiny tone. Now you see the color in the water, the color of the front. Now we all very much know what the color of the face, how dark the face is going to be. I'm going to take a little bit of the brown color, like that. So this is good. I'm going to have just a little bit tiny of this color. Now I'm going to come back over here. Here you go. Now I'm going to, the tip of the nose maybe remain a little bit light. That's good, like that. You can see that that's just good. And beautiful. Now all the way to the neck over here. That's the base color. And we're going to make some color a little bit darker, a little bit more shadow, and that will be later. So put a little color over there, and then we're going to directly go into the coat. Now take a look at this color. Very much is already perfect for it. So I'm going to put that right under over here. This is good. And take a look. And also this also in the face, the bear. Okay, don't make too much into it yet. So we come back a little bit later. So I'm going to take a look at between this color and the outside. This is a little bit lighter, right? So I'm going to just roughly getting this color in here, but between this and the outside, I'm going to make this a little bit lighter. So we don't want to have this connecting to the background, okay? That's just good. I'm going to keep going down like this. Also, onto here is actually pretty simple and easy. You are not painting the object. You are painting a balance. So think about that. It's the balance. What is make your painting look good and attractive. Okay, now here we go. We got a little bit blue in here. There's a little bit brighter. Okay, here we go. That's good. And that's good, like that. Simple. And coming down over here. And there's a little bit shadow on this side. And we're going to come back to give a little bit more details. Okay, take a look over here. All the way to the glove. The glove is right over here. And we can see, give a little bit suggestions, the hand, the glove. This is good, like that. And coming over here, that's the pen. It can be a little bit brighter, a little bit more yellow. Okay, so I'm gonna have just get a little bit more yellow and the red, right? Just a little bit orange color. It will make it look brighter. That's just good. Coming over here, that's perfect. It's getting dry already. The bottom over here is ready to taking more color, but the shadow shape we can come after, right? This is good. The blue over here. Here we go. Now we cover very much all the larger shape. Okay, this is good. And coming on to this side is they have a little bit darker, a little bit more shadow. So take a look at. I'm gonna put this color in first. Okay, the glove right over here. And here you go. Coming down over here, I'm gonna have a little bit more brownish color. And here, a little bit, not brownish, a little bit more cooler, which should be just a little bit more blue, right? Member can go back to watch this recording and as many times as you want, and it will be continue accessible directly from the link that I gave it to you. Okay, this is good. And now this is the shape, and I think the movement is pretty good. And I'm gonna have this just a little bit softer like that. You can use the water over here to break it a little bit, and over here you can just use the water to soften it a little bit more. And this is good. We don't have to do too much right now on that. We need to cover the rest of the painting. So since it's still a little bit wet, but it's not that wet anymore. So I'm gonna have that a little bit, get a little bit shadow blue, which is I use that the red shade blue color, the French ultramarine. That's good. I'm gonna have that a little bit shadow color over here. Can you see that? That's a little bit shadow, like catch the shadow over here. I just make it a little bit stronger, and you can define on how the shadow or catch shadow color would be, and mostly those color it will be a little bit cooler, a little bit warmer, and also need to be consistent. Okay, this is good, and I'm gonna put a little brown color in the middle of the boat. Okay, so here we go, and we don't have to define everything so clear. Okay, it's just all shape at this point. I'm gonna put it over here. Look at it again. That's the skin over here. I'm gonna put the little skin tone a little bit later. That's good. That's the shape. And coming on to here. That's good. Like that. Okay. This a little bit darker than the sleeve. Okay. I'm gonna put this color a little bit bigger right there. That's good. And can be a little bit darker, a little bit too bright, so I'm gonna get a little bit blue into it. Okay, that's good. Like that. I'm going to have the front over here have also a little bit blue color, but it need to be a little bit warmer, otherwise it look a little bit too much merged into the background. Okay, that's good. Like that. And then have a little light shape, and then over here there's a little bit more blue. Okay, here you go, a little bit more blue, also a little bit darker. Okay, here you go, like this, and that's good. Now I'm gonna make the outside a little bit darker, so the arm will stand out a little bit more in the contrast. That's good. You see how you lay this brush, it create different function. I'm gonna move that a little bit more clear, like this. That's good. Like that. That's good. And Now I'm gonna, this is all the getting drives. Now I'm gonna mix the color for the green. Okay, this is still wet, so I'm not gonna paint the outside over here until a little bit later. So I'm gonna mix the green color, have the yellow and the blue color. Okay, this is pretty good. And think about it's just too bright, get a little bit red into it, so it'll be less bright. That's simple. Okay, now I'm gonna get to the bottom over here. That's also very, very crucial and important. Now I'm gonna leave this line right over here. Keep this line, and here you go. See, this color's not really that bright. And I'm gonna have this. If you want to shrink the pen a little bit closer to the left hand side, you just push that a hair, come a little bit in. That's good enough. Okay, that's good. Okay, this is good. Right over here. Now I'm gonna cross over here. Okay, like that, and continue the movement. Okay, here you go, like that. Here you go. That's good. And continue. Okay. Here you go. Come down over here. That's just good. The bottom over here. Since we're doing that, and I'm going to have some even darker color right under. Okay. Do you know what? I'm gonna slow down a little bit. Now I'm gonna also take this color for the front over here. And here you go. Now keep it consistent. And coming over here. That's good. Like that. That's good. All right, now come back in here. So you see that all the things come together in no time. So I'm gonna get the red, get the blue color. Okay, these two colors make it very, very dark. Now here we go, a little bit more red. Okay, that's good. A little bit tiny more red. Okay, here we go. Now I'm gonna make this really, really dark right under. Okay, that's good. And now coming to on this side, same thing. Okay, now I'm gonna have this a little bit line crossover, make it consistent. That's just good. That's start getting very dark at the bottom over here. Now create the contrast, very interesting contrast. Now at the bottom over here, I'm gonna get a little bit more red, and then get transfer into the color of the ground. Okay, this is good, like that. Yeah, this is good. Now I'm gonna just get a little bit tiny more blue, and take a look at that. This is good. I'm gonna gradually coming down over here, wrap around. Now have a little dry brush. That's good. Have that. That's just gonna be for the rock. I'm gonna have that over here too. And at this side, maybe I'm gonna let go of that support over there. Okay, this is good. I can also draw some of the dry brushes like that. Keep that simple and start building up the suggestions. Look, observe, and to see how that is going to make the simple suggestions and effective. Okay, that's good. Like that. Okay, simple thing. Like that. Okay, we don't have to do too much. Like give a few little shape over here, suggesting. That's good. Okay, something like that right there. And now I'm going to come over here for this, have a little bit more red. Actually more yellow over here. Okay, just a little bit dry brush. Just give a little suggestions right on the rock over here. That's just good. And that's also going to be applied to here too. On the rock, that's good. Come back with a little bit more details. And get a little bit darker color right at the bottom over here. That's good. Simple. That's good. A little bit darker over here. And we can have a little bit tiny more darker color. And also have that give a little bit tiny more suggestions for right in here. That's good. So here you go. Here we go. That's good. Like that. Now you come back looking at the person is actually look a little bit, still a little bit pale, right? So I'm gonna have that look at here also need to be a little bit darker as well. It's just, if you think it need to be darker, just put the dark color over there and that will be fine. And look at the top over here, that looks fine, but I'm gonna make this just a little bit darker right over there. That's good. That's good. And all right, now the bottom over here, maybe need to overlay even a little bit deeper colors. I'm gonna mix a little bit red and with the blue color, and I'm gonna make it even deeper right in here. So now I'm gonna make it even darker. Okay, a little bit more blue right in here. That's good. Like that is even deeper. Now here you go. A little bit deeper right there. That's good. Now this is almost the darkest color. Now I'm going to come back over here, take a look at this, also dark. And you have to get your mind off the object, more thinking about the shape and the balance, and more on the abstract side. Okay, this is good. Like this is good. Like that. And also give it a little bit tiny more. And a little bit more. And maybe I still want this right over here. When I still want to have that in. I think that this space is a little bit missing something. So I'm going to keep that over here. So I'm going to just light up a little bit and we'll make it happen. Okay, it's very simple. Okay. All right. We just need to light up a little bit. Make this brush like a little big flat brush. You see that? How easy. Just give the suggestions. A little bit lighter. That's good. That's good enough. Now I'm going to go back to the top, finish the rest of the boat. Get a little bit yellow with the blue. Okay, this is good. Take a look at that. A little bit tiny more blue. Okay, this is good. All right. Now I'm going to come to here. Take a look. And in here, this is good. Okay, maybe a little bit tiny more blue. It gets a little bit too much green. Tiny, a little bit more blue. That's good. I'm going to have that all the way. Look at it again. All the way over here. That's good. Like that. I'm going to do this too. Okay. And look at the hand. That's good. That's the thumb. And painting around the shape of the thumb. That's just good. Now again, I'm going to keep that little bit, this rope, a little bit, leave it alone. Like that. This is good. And make it easier for finish later. Okay, here we go. Going up. Okay. Pretty good. Okay, now coming on to this side. The other side have a little bit more blue. Look a little bit cooler, a little bit less bright. Okay, I'm gonna come in right in here. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. I'm going to also put this color in here, showing this is a little bit lighter, and then get a little bit darker. I'm going to get a little bit blue color right over here. So showing this form a little bit more curve, right? This is simple. So I'm gonna make this a little bit softer. Here you go, like that. That's simple suggestions. Oh, at the front, we're also gonna have a little bit more of the same color, the paint. That's good. Okay, a little bit more blue. Was a little bit yellow. That's just good. And take a look again. That's gonna go around showing the front of the boat. That's just good. Like that. Wonderful. I'm gonna have this a little bit coming over. Okay, that's good. That's good. Now, give you enough suggestions. Now I'll come back over here, use this color. Maybe a little bit tiny more blue. Okay, here we go. Be patient, okay? That's good. Oh, directly ask me the questions. Well, it's when you replay the video, you probably see a little bit more that how I mix the color, and even you don't see how I take the water, because as I can see, this is actually not a lot of water. If you put lots of water over here, it will become puddle. So that can be improved by doing more technique exercise. I would suggest you to go back into the learning center to the watercolor basics library, and they look simple, but they're very crucial and important to think before you even start mixing the color. And after the watercolor basic library, and then you should go into watercolor object, and which is painting some still life and flowers and so on. Those, it would help you to start from the simple object. It will make you more conscious and think a little bit more before we are painting or even mix the colors. The observation thinking is very important in this step. So and when you are doing a little bit simple, a little bit complicated object like this, and you need to think a little bit faster, but doesn't have to be very fast. You still can slow down, but it would make you feel more less anxiety. And if you spend more time on the basic objects, so you can taking care of how to mix color, how to use different technique. For example, we have quite a bit of technique study in the watercolor basics library, and that's for now. But it can become it's probably a week or two exercise if you focus. It can turn that into your second nature. You automatically go through the process. How dark that color would be, the first question you have to ask yourself. And then how much water do I need? Okay. Before you mix the correct color, don't put it on the paper. Okay. Don't rush on that because it's very important to do one step at a time. Right. Okay. We're going to talk more about that in the future, especially in next week when we have the actually the watercolor flower painting technique lesson. It's going to be a step-by-step learning lesson. So make sure you have the time to join, and maybe for some member, it means that you have to get up early or stay up a little bit late if you can do that, because as is in the class, you have the opportunity to ask questions and I can do more demonstrations based on the need. Okay, if you're just watching the video, you may not really get the full benefit of the interaction. Okay, Okay, thank you for asking that question. And I will keep that in mind when I'm doing more demonstrations. I'm going to have this a little bit here. The rock over here have a little bit shape. This is good. Also can do some a little bit shape over here with some light color like that. Okay, this is good and make it even more interesting. Okay, this is good. Now it seems like everything is come together to pretty nicely, and the head is nicely. And look at the water. I'm gonna have. See, my mind is all over the places, right? This is what I mean. Is you have to build the balance. It's not just the simple the couple main object. Okay, I'm gonna have that a little bit more. I'm gonna have a little bit more line like this. And with those lines, I also create a little bit relaxing and distraction for some texture. And this is good. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. Right over here. Okay, that's on the top over there. I'm gonna have a little bit more of the very light blue color. I'm gonna have that suggesting this is actually part of the water. I don't want to feel like this is the middle, is not the water. The whole thing is the water. So just put a little bit blue over here, from here to the top, all the way coming down, like that. And in a moment, we're gonna paint the face. And after we have all the details, not the detail, the overall balance is there. It's getting there already. Getting closer and closer. And let's take a look at, I think this can be a little bit tiny darker. Okay, so I'm going to glaze a little bit over here. Okay, also over here can be a little bit darker. If you make the outside a little bit darker, the glove will pop a little bit more. Is think about the light and dark before you think about how much blue, how much red in it, right? This is very important and easy to understand, but is difficult to be patient and slow down. Okay, over here I don't want to have too much connection to the person, so I'm gonna change the shape a little bit. Yeah, that's good. There's a lot of things actually connect together, and it's not as simple to be able to. You may say that it's easy for you to say, but I cannot actually do it because it mixed with many experience together in a painting like this, even a simple painting. So you just have to be patient to learn through the different areas of the there's many libraries over there. So let me know if you need a little advice on what you're supposed to be learning right now. What should be focusing on? Should I do more drawing? And should I do more color exercise? Should I do more anatomy or other things? And just ask me. And when I have a moment, and I would communicate with you, especially on Discord. Okay, and it's easier to learn together this way. Okay, that's good. Now I just make this a little bit tiny more darker. If you want to have more texture, just get a little bit more dry brush. That's just fine. Like that. And the bottom over here can be a little even darker, like a little bit texture to it. I'm gonna have that a little bit more, and you can have a little bit some of the line, and you can do the white shape if you want to. Okay, that's just actually everything looks just fine on the outside. Now we're gonna walk into the person. So now I'm gonna take a look at outside of the face first. Now I'm going to just do a little overlay is on the head. Okay, just get a little bit brownish color, the yellow and the red. That's good. I'm gonna just put a little bit of that on the top of this. Here you go. That's good. Look at the shape. That's good. Only for here. And I'm gonna have that down over here. A little bit tiny more bluish color. You see, after you overlaid a little bit more color, it actually instantly separate that from the background, right? I'm gonna have this a little bit more blue. Okay, that's good. Here we go. Here we go. This is good. And that's just good. Now, after we put the shadow on the face, and that will be very easy. Now I'm going to keep going with this. Now take a look at the little bit more shadow. To catch the shadow right under here. Okay. Now, in some area, need to overlay it a little bit more. Like I'm going to mix a little bit brown color. Get the yellow and the red together, and with a little blue. And this is good. And the front over here, maybe have a little bit blue. You see, I mixed this color. I don't need a lot of color, so I don't need to use too much water. If you have too much water, and it will become a big puddle, okay? And have a little bit tiny more water, as I'm gonna make that a little bit lighter. So the front over here need to be a little bit more blue, cooler color. And here you go. I'm gonna have that little bit front over here. Now I'm gonna, by having this a little bit tiny darker color, and you create the shadow side over here. Like that. Here we go. Larger shape, bigger shape. If you don't feel like you're getting what you're looking for, it may be in your mind you're looking for the wrong place. Right? Okay, here you go. Like that, I'm looking at the shadow shape. Okay, here you go. Like that. And that's good. Now, instantly, you create the form. Continue making more form. That's good. Like that. Some folds. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Like that. And coming here. Now, continue. After you glaze this color, and it make much more dynamic moving. Okay, I'm going to have a little bit more warmer coming onto this side. Just this a little bit warmer. Now I'm going to take a look at this color and a little bit shape over here, and then one more shape. That's beautiful. Now I'm going to have this a little bit darker over here too, and coming back to this arm, and on this side also a little bit more of this color. Is that? This is good. And coming up over here, and here you go. I'm gonna have a little bit, a few shape over here like that. This is good. That's the arm, but don't overdo it because it could be too much distraction. Now coming down over here, and I'm gonna use this color coming here to ping around the glove. Okay, here you go. Coming down over here, this whole side, this pen is just a little bit darker because it's more in the shadow. Can you see that? Right over here. A little bit more in the shadow. Like that. This is good. Now when you come down over here, we're going to have this fold. That's good. With the different look of folds in represent the materials. Okay. And this is pretty good. And you see that? It's very, very crucial and important. I'm going to get over here too. I'm going to have this also a little bit darker. But on the other side, I'm going to have this coming over here, a little bit more shadow. Here you go. Like that. And That's pretty good. Now, here you go. Now I'm going to have a little big fold over here. So it's everything, and the larger and smaller. Think about their form, the structure. Okay, think about where's the whole shadow. Okay, that's simple. Now I'm going to have some even darker color. See, get a little bit red and the blue. A little bit more red. Now it's a lot darker. Okay, and here we go. Tiny more blue. That's good. I'm going to take a look over here. Even darker. See that? That is a lot more interesting. A little bit more clear over here. Here you go. That's good. That's good. And coming onto this side is good. A little bit soft. That's exactly what I want. Okay, that's good. A little bit more shadow. A little bit darker line. That's perfect. I'm going to put that over here too. And then come down over here. There's a little bit shadow. And a little bit more. Now coming to the side over here. You see that? This is very good. It's already getting the very good impression of the whole shape. Now I'm going to put it over here. There you go. Coming up over here. Now take a look. That's nice. A little bit deeper. And coming onto this side, maybe not so dark. So I'm going to get a little bit more yellow and red into here. And that's good. A little bit more. That's just good. I put those color in, and you're going to do some adjusting. And maybe not super that dark. Maybe should be dark, more dark. So I'm going to see. So put the color in, and then you're going to make the adjusting. That's just good. I'm going to have that a little bit more, a little bit detail, a little bit darker line over here. Yeah, like over layer, then another layer. That's over here a little bit darker on this side. That's good. Okay, that's good. Right here. Now you see the body a lot more cohesive as create a three-dimensional form. I'm going to have this. I'm going to come in over here to shade this a little bit more. So I have when I have this a little bit darker, and the bottom over here, this a little bit look a little bit lighter. So this need to be together. Okay, that's good. And take a look on this side. Need to be even darker. Okay, that's good. And that's very well. And now take a look at the front of the body. Now I'm going to have also this a little bit darker. Yeah, a little bit darker over here. That's come out a little bit fold in here. Okay, that's good. Okay, the front over there, I'm going to give it a little bit tiny more blue. You can see that that's a little bit darker too. But you see the water, maybe too much. You're going to coming down. And I'm going to take away the little bit over here. I'm going to move the color coming in over here, connect it. And that's good. Now you see the form of this body, a little bit more of three-dimensional, right? That's good. And this can cross over a little bit. And by having a little bit tiny more yellow with a little bit brownish color, and seeing that there's and be a little bit more. So this is good. Just put a little color over here, a little texture like that, and even better. And maybe this too much, so soften that a little bit. And also using this color over here too, on the top. And this is pretty good. And I'm going to have a little bit tiny more of this color, put it on the glove over here. That's good. And just put a little bit more yellow then. and get a little bit more blue and red, and take a look at the bottom over here. Can have a little bit more shadow like that, a little bit deeper. That's good. That's good right there, and here too, like that. So you can see a little bit shape. And now I'm going to put a little skin tone onto the hand. This pretty good. I'm going to put that in. We don't have to put too much description, okay, to describe it. And we're going to come back after it dries, put a little bit shadow. Now this is pretty good. I'm going to go back to the face, right? And take a look at the little bit shadow. I'm going to get a little bit blue and the red. Take a look. I'm going to make it even darker. Okay, a little bit more blue and the red. So as you see, you don't really need lots of those colors. You don't need lots of water either, right? But you cannot make it a dry brush. That would be too much texture for that. So just keep mixing this blue and the red color. Get to the color that you want. That will be fine. I'm going to come back over here. See, one brush stroke like this. Push it down and then move forward. See that? That's good. And here you go. Coming up like this. Beautiful, right? Now coming over onto this side. Now take a look at the shape on the outside. The eye actually in the shadow. Okay, take a look on this side. Coming down a little bit more on the outside of the nose. Like that. That's pretty good. And the eye also in this shadow. But we take care of that a little bit later. So the bottom of the bear. Now I'm going to set a little color over here. Okay, this is pretty good. The whole face is still a little bit pale. So we need to look at the top over here. Get a little bit dark, mix a little brown color. Come to the face. Okay. This is good. I'm going to take a look at maybe too bright in the shadow. Get a little bit blue back in here. That's good. Take a look at the eye. Okay, right here. That's good. Now, sometimes just one brush stroke. That's all you need. We don't need that much color. Let go some of the pink. Just a little bit on the side over here. See that? The ear is totally in the shadow. So you don't need to put too much paint. This is good. And then, and on the bear over here, there's some of the shadow right under. And try to create a form of the bear. The neck over here. Okay, this is good. Now I'm going to have something on the outside over here too, like that. Okay, this is pretty good. Now I'm going to have just a little bit orange color. Put it in here. I can make the whole bear a little bit more orange color. Like that. That's good. All right, and the cheek over here, and some shadow. That's good. Okay, this is pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna have this a little bit softer. That's very nice. And in the middle of the cheek, and now I'm gonna have just a little bit more red over here. You see this is very tiny color. So you don't need to put too much paint into it. Just a little bit tiny more. That's good. I'm going to soften that a little bit. Lead this color into here. That's good. Now after this color, the cheekbone over here, now I see a little bit light on that. That's important. Right? A little by little, everything that you do is contribute to the describing the texture, not the texture, the whole form. I'm going to have the form and the balance again. I'm going to get down over here. I'm going to put a little bit darker color that actually make it feel more the ear on the top. But we're going to come back to a little bit more after a little bit more dry. Okay, get a little bit more blue and a little bit more red. Okay, now I'm going to have the bear over here a little bit darker. Now this is also a perfect color for the nostril, so I'm going to take a look. The nostril already dry, so I'm going to have that right here. Perfect, like that. This area, like that. And the eye here, and this eye over here, make it a little bit tiny darker. That's good. Now I'm going to come back to make this even darker. A little bit tiny more red. A little bit darker. Here we go. And this darker. Now here you go. Now I'm going to make this a little bit darker. So appear to be before the ear. This a little bit darker. That's after the ear. That's just good. And now I'm going to have a little bit more descriptions for the shirt on the inside. Like that. That looks pretty good. Now, the face is almost there. We're going to leave the face alone for a little bit. I'm going to come back to the surrounding. Now I'm going to take a look at the head. Right? A little line coming up over here. That's good. On this side, the shadow. That's good. Like that. And a little bit detail on top of the head. This is good. Wonderful. A little bit detail over here. And the head looks just very, very good. Very clear. And now I'm going to have a little bit tiny more color. This painting quite complex, so we don't mind to just use a little bit extra time on this. And we're going to work on others a little bit faster. Okay, the bear over here. I'm going to have that a little bit more brown, orange brown color. Now make it feel more as this is the. Okay, now a little bit higher over here. Okay, move the bear a little bit higher. Like that, this is good. And the edge over here. Oh, this is good. Like that. That's good. And the neck. I'm going to have a little bit more darker color, a little bit brownish, red. Okay. This pop up a little bit too much. Then here you go. Like that. Now this is good. Softer coming down over here. Okay. And a little bit tiny more red. Just a little bit red. Right in here. And also in the ear. That's just good. Okay. That the face. It looks good. I'm going to get a little bit tiny blue color as is the inside shirt. I'm going to just give a little bit different. I'm going to put a little bit blue. That's good enough. Okay, let's take a look at the bottom of the shoe. And take a look. That's good. I'm going to have that a little bit over here. That's the front over here have a little bit more shadow. Okay, seeing that some a little bit fold like this. That's just good. And that's good. A little bit more. That's just a nice structure. On this side, a little bit darker here too. That's just good. And down over here also can be a little bit tiny darker. Here you go. Just get a little bit warmer color like that. Pretty simple. And over here, a little bit darker too. And a little bit darker way over here. And coming over here, give it a little bit tiny more. Okay. That now come to the hand on the boat. Here you go. There's a little shadow on this side. Okay, this good. Fold it like this. Okay, that's shadow. That's good enough. Okay, that's good. A little line like this over. And I think this is pretty good. I'm gonna have just tiny, a little bit more descriptions. And to take a look at somewhere, we maybe have to punch it a little bit more deeper. Let's take a look over here. I think this line, a little bit more clear. That's just good. And this need to be a little bit more clear. Okay. Okay, let's see. And this can be a little bit more clear. Here you go. And some of the line is actually create very nice rhythm and direct eye and have some interesting tone. So I'm gonna have a little bit more blue, even make it a little bit darker right here. And then this triangle, keep a little bit more, and this a little bit darker right over there. And while we're doing this, we also keep maybe a little bit over here, a little bit texture over here. And we're gonna take a look. That's softened a little bit. And let's see. Is that good? And over here, and I'm going to thank you. And what I really need to do, the last thing, is maybe have a little bit light shape on their shoes. So, and also, and somewhere over here to give a little bit interesting description. So I'm gonna just use the opaque white. This is usually the last resort that creates some additional light details. So what I'm gonna do over here, just like this. Okay, here you go, like that, coming a little bit forward. And here you go. And a couple line like that, maybe a little bit thicker. Okay, directly taking the paint from the tail. That's good. And a little bit over here too. There you go. A couple onto this side. And one more over here. Okay, that's just good. And coming here, I'm gonna have that couple line. That's good. That's how you use the white, not relying on the white at the beginning. You don't have to think about what you're gonna do with the white later, but if you need it at the end, you can always to use the white to create additional changes to it. Okay, and I know the nose can be modified a little bit, so I'm going to just use the red, maybe a little bit tiny yellow. Okay, a little bit. Okay, now take a look at it. I know this is very tiny, but this brush can do the job for us. Okay, I'm gonna modify the highlight a little bit more toward the other side. Okay, this is good. And over here too, again a little bit tiny more red over here for the cheek, and have a little bit tiny about brownish color on here on the shadow of the cheekbone. Okay, that's good. Now that's good. I'm gonna put this outside at the bottom of the cheek. Oh, beautiful. Now it's a lot more. I know you cannot see too clearly. In the future, when I edit it, I will try to zoom in to here for member to see the okay, now under the nose, I'm going to have a little bit clear nostril. Okay, I'm gonna do that right in here. That's good, like that. And the top over here in the middle can also let the catch the shadow coming down a little bit tiny more. Just get a little bit brown color, like that. That's good. So as well as the highlight can go down a little bit. Okay, not really so high. That's good. Okay, you don't even see much about the eye in the shadow. Okay, I'm gonna have some color even deeper on the back over here. You know, watercolor, you can go again and again, and as long as you keep the painting editable, which is don't scratch the surface of the paper, don't damage it, and you use the good color, and also important, use the brush that allows you to execute all your dot. Okay, that's good. A little bit more detail over there. That's good. Yeah. Soften that a little bit. Okay. Remove that. See that? All the technique. And add color, remove color. You can do anything you wish. Okay, that's good. We can come back to do more a little bit later. But we're going to move on into our next project. Okay, so this is good. This is done. If you like this painting lesson, share it in your communities. I will looking forward to see you in my next video.